Hey, and welcome back to Talk a Better Worlds. This is podcast number 11. I'm Sir Felix the Cat, and with me as always, I have Hawk. How's your day going?
It's going. How about yours?
Yeah, it's been a day. I watched a fun movie today.
Fun movie. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
word for it.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about fun, so it's a fun movie. But
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I guess is probably the best way to describe the movie. But anyway, so start off with a little bit of news. See if I can share my screen. I should have done this earlier, should have prepped it. But I'm not that smart. All right, so we're going to start off with music news because I am super excited about this. 4 Year Strong this week announced their new album. Comes out August 9th.
Oh, nice.
Analysis Paralysis.
That's cool.
Yeah, so far the 5 songs they show here that are playable through this are pretty good. I need to check it out and hear the rest of them. I'm kind of excited for Roller Coaster because it makes me think of Blink-182 because Blink-182's Roller Coaster is one of their best songs.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that's music news. Figured I'd share that because, some people might think that I kind of like the band or something.
Yeah, I saw Pure Noise at the top and I'm like, oh, this is going to be something good.
Then let's go to science news. Scientists think there is a 10-mile thick layer of diamond beneath the surface of Mercury, which would make you around 876 billion Minecraft pickaxes, if my math is right.
Oh, Lord. Well, we're going to be making real pickaxes. Get ready because the corpos are going to send us to Mercury.
Yep. That would be insane. That would be insane if we start mining diamonds off another planet.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
They even tell you who's going to be going there right here in this article. Right there. That nice little 3-letter word.
Yeah.
Get that nice cheap labor.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy, exploitable labor.
Yeah.
It just
that
works,
was kind of interesting, though.
No, that is actually really interesting.
And then let's go on to comic news. So your favorite superhero's back. And he is getting a new comic line.
Captain Planet.
Yes.
Oh,
I happened to see that while I was scrolling through stuff. I was like, that is kind of interesting.
That's actually kind of cool. Yeah. Like you said, favorite superhero. I thought, okay, so it's either going to be the Punisher or Superman because I hate Superman and I love the Punisher. But I didn't think of Captain Planet.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty dope one. Come out of Comic-Con.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if they brought back the cartoon in some way. Like the cartoon wasn't the best, but it was something just to kind of watch and to stare at and be like, oh, this is pretty colors.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the cartoon when I was pretty young. I remember watching it before school and stuff, but I don't know. It probably had an impact on me because the things I would do to preserve the environment are pretty gnarly. So.
And then we got more comic and video game news. So there was a picture taken at Comic-Con, and it's of some action figures, like some statues of Soul Reaver.
Okay.
And there was a little card next to it that kind of just hinted that there's going to be a new game by Crystal Dynamics. See if it loads. If you look here, Soul Reaver, and then really small, it says 1 and 2 remake.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're getting a comic book, some collectibles, and remakes of the games or remasters.
That's a weird way to drop that.
Yeah, but this is Crystal Dynamics is underneath Embracer Group.
Oh,
and
okay.
One of their goals before they started closing basically all their studios was to take some old dormant IPs and bring them back. And I think they chose a cool one because I've been wanting to like Legacy of Kain 3, I think it was. Mm-hmm. I want a remake of that one. I want it to come out on Switch 2, whatever they're going to bring it out on. But that'd be beautiful.
That'd be pretty cool.
I never got to play the first one though. First Legacy of Kain is like a top-down isometric RPG.
Yeah, I never played the first one.
But I am super excited for that. And it's going to, apparently people are saying it's going to be coming out for everything, but I mean, here Polygon at least did the little bit of their research, and they're waiting for responses instead of just assuming it's coming out for everything.
Yeah, that's a big assumption for those. I would not assume they're coming out for everything.
Yeah, because I think it was PlayStation exclusive originally. I played them on PS1. I know Soul Reaver definitely was. I don't know about Legacy of Kain.
I would imagine it's probably going to come to PlayStation first, maybe Switch. I don't think Xbox is going to have a big market for those. I don't know. I could, I don't know the Xbox market at this point. I've been out of it for so long because I got wise.
Yeah, I mean, they might just pick it up and just make it like a day one release on Game Pass. That's all they really got going there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like other remakes or remasters of like the fighting games, they're just not getting them, which is shocking.
Well, they're not selling consoles. That's not enough anyway.
Yeah, actually, here they're coming out with new tiers too. Apparently, there's going to be extra tiers coming out to kind of supplement the big disastrous change they made.
Oh,
yeah, with the day one releases on the newest tier, standard or whatever they're calling it.
That'll go well, so, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Let's go on to fun video game news. This is from Nintendo Life. Final Fantasy and Persona voice actors are making a game where you can date everything. It's called Date Everything. And when they say date everything, inanimate objects, you can date everything. You can date pets, computers, a basket. Like, this is going to be just the best game ever. I am going to get it, even though I don't play dating games. I'm hoping it's kind of like Sims.
Can I have intercourse with anything, though? I mean, or everything? Okay,
probably.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at what Nintendo has on their e-store or Play Store, wherever the heck they call it, yeah, they have a lot of what's his channel? Beat 'em ups. Wood was calling it Luigi content.
Hide your outlets, boys.
Yeah.
No, it sounds stupid but fun. It's really stupid, but it's worth checking out probably.
But before I move on, since this was about voice actors, did you hear about the big news with voice actors and basically just, I think it was voice actors, writers, and all that stuff that's going on?
No, what's going on?
They're going on strike.
Sweet.
Because of the I was going to say EI. That doesn't make any sense. AI content.
Okay.
So like the biggest companies being called out were like Activision and Blizzard, because they're the same thing. But I think EA too. I could be wrong there.
Are they like cutting corners with AI now?
That's what is their fear. And I mean, on the last Call of Duty, there was pure AI made DLC.
Wait, there's DLC for the game that was DLC?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Oh, man. I mean, good. Strikes are always good. Strike more, strike hard. Hit them where it hurts.
Yeah, I mean,
take their money away.
Same union that got the acting thing done. It's the Actors Guild.
Okay, SAG, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because Fran Drescher was the one who made the announcement that they're doing their strike. It started, I think, Friday.
Good. I hope it actually does something.
Yeah, we're gonna have some delays on games that aren't even out yet, so it doesn't like really matters to us right this moment. We'll probably be good up until middle of next year, if not end of next year.
I think because the gaming industry has produced such, or well, I should say the AAA gaming industry, because there's been amazing indie games and like AA games out there, but the AAA industry lately has produced such trash that I think people have become less averse to waiting for things if it means that they're going to be good. So I hope that the strike, even if it does prevent, some games releasing and stuff like that, I don't think the majority of people are going to be too mad about it, especially because people are starting to lean more pro-union and everything lately. Because, spoiler alert, we need them, or, you're going to be living where you work real soon.
Yeah.
So, which is a bad thing. I know people forget that, but that's a bad thing.
Which I mean, I live where I work.
Well, yeah, I guess we do now. Yeah, they cheated into it. Yeah.
And we're not doing crazy hours like that, though. Thank God.
Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, what country was that we were talking about the other week that started doing a 6-day work week? That's just absurd.
Was it Greece?
I think so. Sounds right.
Because they have an actual Nazi party.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then my last bit of news, which brings us to our topic of the day, which is animation versus live action. We have some MCU news because the MCU is a thing to talk about. Apparently, they thought that the Avengers could only work as an animated film.
I would say it would have worked better, honestly.
I want to agree, but Marvel doesn't have the best animated movies. They have some dope ones. Like, don't get me wrong. They have the Doctor Strange movie. That one was wonderful. They had not the next Avengers. That one was all right. They did a couple of Avengers movies that were pretty awesome. That were more modern.
Animated. Whoops.
Yeah.
My mind's gone.
I mean, they've done decent cartoons, but WB DC, that's the ones who master the animated content.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of their animated stuff. I know there's some good stuff out there, but from what I've gathered from talking to you and from seeing stuff online, like DC has much better animated stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like they have that the anime Batman movie, which was just savage. It was just it ended with like some Power Rangers stuff where they're like in these giant mech suits, and that was awesome to see.
Yeah, it's always fun.
And then Gotham by Gaslight. That one was pretty awesome. It was different. They were actually going to make a game of that at one point, I think well before the movie was made.
Okay. Which,
I mean, I would be down for that. It's kind of steampunk-esque in the way his weapons are made, like his gadgets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think that the Marvel movies, well, I mean, it leads into our discussion, to the about today, like what animation versus live action. And I think the best way to start that, honestly, is to say that both have their high points and both have their purpose, and neither is better than the other. That's my personal opinion. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Like they've been trying, like Netflix has been leading the charge, I feel, with they're not really making them the original ones. They were buying them, but making like anime into live action movies, and they're decent. Their first one that got big, at least talk of it got big. It wasn't a great movie. Was Death Note.
Yeah,
that was a big miss. But yeah, like they did Rurouni Kenshin, they did Full Metal Alchemist, and then Bleach, and those are all really good movies. Like they did a good job of retelling. Then they have the series of One Piece, which is your favorite anime ever because you just love the aesthetics of it.
I hate that,
yeah, like at least for casting in that one, they did a phenomenal job. Everybody suits their role perfectly. They look similar to the characters. I mean, as I was telling you the other day while we were working, been playing One Piece Odyssey since it came out for the Switch, and unfortunately, it looks like Luffy has Down syndrome because his like every character in that game, their forehead is just so huge. Like there's another character, I can't remember his name. You meet him right away in the game, but his like eyes are right here. Then he has this huge forehead, and then his hair goes back, and you can see like top of his head's like way back here. And it's like, why? What is with this art style? But that's a side topic.
It's weird, man. I just can't get past that.
Yeah, it's a really fun game though. They did a good job. It's I feel like it's their response to Dragon Quest games.
Okay.
That's what it feels like. It's got an interesting combat system, kind of reminiscent of Final Fantasy X, to be honest, where you swap out people in the middle of combat because their type is better against X enemy.
Okay. Well, at least the gameplay is good on it. I mean, that's first, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it got some bad reviews, some bad takes. People saying like, "Oh, it feels like they made this just for people who are fans." And like, yeah, it basically was made for fans, but you could jump in. I only watched the first, I guess what we'd call a season, like maybe 15, 20 episodes, and I just jumped into some randomly. And I don't know all the characters. I didn't know who Frankie was. He's just this huge, just giant guy, but I'm able to enjoy it just as easily. The characters react well to each other. They kind of fill in the blanks. You know who has a rivalry with who. And yeah, it's pretty well done. Pretty well done.
Yeah, and I mean, with if we're looking at like live action, the values of live action and the values of animation, and why there's a couple ways to approach this. Like sometimes stuff is done in live action and it probably shouldn't have been done in live action, like the Marvel movies, in my opinion. I think it comes down to why. The Marvel movies are not movies that are based off of like heavy emotional acting, if that makes sense. You're not going to the Marvel movies for like a character piece. Not necessarily, at least not. Well, I guess you are going for a character piece. It's complicated. This is a deeper thing. I was thinking about this actually on the drive home today from the drive to the apartment from the house. But you go to a live action movie for, I don't know. How do I word this? What am I thinking? How do I word this?
Oh, tell me what you're thinking, and then I'll word it for you.
Like animated movies. This is like weirdly complicated at the moment. My head's dying. Animated movies can pull off crazy stuff that live action can't. So in an animated movie, you can have stuff that just would never work in a million years in live action. And now, before we go deeper in that, would you consider CGI animation?
It depends. If it's done like the Hulk was, I consider the Hulk in the Avengers movies just to be animation. Anything with him in it is just animation. When you see go back to the Matrix, the second or third one, when Neo's fighting like 100 Agent Smiths, that whole fight scene is just animation in a live setting.
Okay.
Even then, it was the whole setting. I think the whole set at that point was animation too, but it was just rubber.
Yeah, and I think basically any CGI, like on a technical level, is animation. So if you look at the Marvel movies as they happened, they're practically entirely animated already, but it doesn't look the same as if they did an actual traditional animation style, because they have live actors in them with animated backgrounds. And to me personally, and I think to a lot of people, it's kind of uncanny. It goes into that uncanny valley area a little often, and it becomes harder to believe because you're seeing real people in totally generated environments. But if it were animated people in animated environments, I think it would be more believable, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, the only time animation has looked good with live action to me personally was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
I felt like they did that one really well. I know there was I think there was a Brad Pitt movie back in the day that basically did the same thing, and it just wasn't as good in my opinion. But yeah, I completely agree that animation and live action have their places with not being able to do certain things in live action. My favorite favorite movie to discuss with that is the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. I'm a firm believer that you can't do Dragon Ball Z and any of the Dragon Ball thing. I mean, maybe Dragon Ball if you don't do any Kamehameha attacks or stuff like that, any their key attacks. But yeah, it shouldn't be done live action. It looks weird. It's awkward to explain. It just doesn't fit.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
It goes into the uncanny. And like, there's some movies that are animated that would never work as live action, and would also, to double on that, never work with humans as characters. For instance, look at most Disney movies, or Pixar, I should say. I think it's Pixar, like Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo would not work if you replaced all the characters with people.
Yeah.
It just if it's exactly written the same way, it would not work with people. So it has to be animated fish.
Yeah, it'd be like cats if they try to do it.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't work. And then you take certain movies like There Will Be Blood. Have you ever seen There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
If you take There Will Be Blood and make that animated, it loses a lot of the facial nuances that you get from a live actor. So I think both have their purposes, and sometimes either studios or directors or whoever think that they can merge them, and to merge them is a more difficult thing than I think most people realize.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there are some studios that can do decent facial, like I think Pixar is one of them. They did a decent job with Up to show like the old man's feelings on his face. But I mean, he had like two feelings. He had sad and upset.
Yeah, and even with Up, if you look at there's a whole thing on the humans in that movie were designed in a specific way to evoke certain emotions just by their appearance, even without doing facial emotions.
Yeah.
So that goes more into the favor of like you could take animation and have your characters and stuff in it designed in such a way to evoke emotion upon immediately seeing it or seeing the character, whereas that doesn't. I mean, it can happen in live action, but it's not as strong sometimes. Another example, again, Daniel Day-Lewis, I love him, of seeing a character and immediately feeling something emotional in live action would be what's it called? Gangs of New York. When you first see his character come out, it's like, whoa, you have a visceral reaction to seeing this guy. He's intimidating, he's tall, he's creepy looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could go in both ways, but it has different effects based on what you're aiming for. I guess animation can lend itself to doing that more than live action can, I guess.
Yeah. Are there any times that you thought something would be bad in one of them and they like studio somehow proved you wrong?
I guess I don't know. I don't know if I've been proven wrong with it. If we look at the Marvel movies, they were better than I thought they would be being live action. I still think they would work better as animation, but I guess that does technically count. They were better than I thought they would be being live action. So yeah, the Marvel movies, I guess. What about you?
I mean, I want to say the Animatrix kind of proved me wrong, but then again, go back to how I thought that one fight scene or a lot of the fight scenes were just animation to begin with. Batman movies probably do it the best.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was also live action back in the day. It was cheesy, but it was live action.
It was so cheesy, dude.
I don't drink alcohol. I drink milk.
Well, now we have like grumpy murder Batman.
Yeah. Not even. They got rid of him. We have vampire Batman.
Oh yeah. What's his face? What's his name? Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's a good actor. He got a bad role, but he's a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, the Batman movie was really good. I was iffy on it, but he definitely proved me wrong that he is a good Batman. I don't know about Bruce Wayne too much, but he's a good Batman.
Well, he doesn't have the cut for Bruce Wayne, in my opinion. Yeah. Like you look at like Christian Bale, he looks like a Bruce Wayne. You look at, I don't know, what's his face? Affleck, yeah. You look at Affleck and he looks like a Bruce Wayne. Actually, he looks probably like the most Bruce Wayne out of any live actor that's ever taken up the mantle. But Robert Pattinson, he makes a good Batman, but even then it's a kind of a different Batman. But the Bruce Wayne, I don't know if it's quite as believable.
Yeah.
But so you thought the Animatrix would be bad?
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be great, but they definitely proved me wrong. And I love that little, it's 4 movies in one?
Oh, it's
4
a lot.
shirts.
It's basically the only thing that I carry from the Animatrix, like all of it's pretty good, but the only thing that I really go back and revisit multiple times, like a month at this point, is the 2-part short. I guess that's within it. They split it up into 2 parts. It's what is it? The second oh God, why can't I think of the word? The Second Renaissance. That's it. The Second Renaissance. Man, I'm fried. The Second Renaissance parts 1 and 2. And that is something that I think would only work as well as it did in animation. And it's harrowing, terrifying, emotional in a way that you wouldn't think. Do you remember the Second Renaissance? Do you remember what that is?
Vaguely.
Okay. It goes over, basically it starts at the very beginning when machines were first made, and how they were made in man's image and everything was good. That's how they say it. Like they were butlers and they were workers and they were, bipedal machines that looked kind of like humans, but robotic. And then one machine goes and kills his master. He kills his owner. He kills his owner's wife. He kills the owner's pets. Just slaughters everything. And he says that he didn't want to die because the owner threatened to deactivate him. So he goes to court, and they put him on trial, and they determine he's guilty of murder, and they shut him down. And that causes a cascade effect where they shut down all machines, and they begin effectively genociding the machines because they've started to gain consciousness and sentience. And it goes from there. Everything builds up as you'd expect. Machines go and start their own nation called 01. 01 gets bombed because the humans fire first, which that answers that question from the Matrix itself, if you remember that.
Yeah.
What is it? In the desert of the real scene, Morpheus says that we don't know who fired first. But yeah, it shows the war between the humans and the machines. And there's imagery that's very biblically apocalyptic in that short. And I think that is only something that could have been done as well as it was done in animation.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Makes sense.
Yeah, like the biggest scene from that is a machine. Actually, I have it up. If you want to, I could share the screen here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Share screen. Window, entire screen. Okay. Let's share this. All right. Can you see it?
That is tiny.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Magnify image. How about that? Is that a little better?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's this scene of this machine on a horse type machine riding through a destroyed Earth effectively after the humans blot out the sun, and eventually it catches on fire and falls over. And it's kind of like the last horseman of the apocalypse. It has a lot of biblical kind of imagery like that. This is the scene that sticks out the most to me in that. And I just don't think that it could have been done in live action at all. It also has like a grainy effect and everything too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it would look trash if it was just like some bad done CGI nonsense.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. It's part of the believability thing, like here, I'll stop sharing. Whoa. Whoa. It's part of the believability thing where if everything is animated, you could believe it because the world makes sense within the world. The world has to, it's like the number one story thing, whether it's animation, live action, or just story writing in general. And I think we've talked about this before, that the world has to make sense.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't make sense, you don't believe it. So when you have stuff that's kind of jarring, that doesn't seem like it fits within the world, like you can get sometimes with live action and CGI, it takes you out of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I kind of worry about this movie Nintendo's working on, the Zelda movie. Like,
oh yeah,
I have no expectations for that. I just figure it's going to be trash, even though their last movie was a hit. I just feel like this is going to be trash because it's not animated. It's going to be live action. They can't have a silent protagonist in live action. The whole silent protagonist thing, this is a little side rant. The creator of Dragon Quest came out, and he was saying like it's really hard in modern times to keep a silent protagonist, which that makes me really sad. Very sad.
It is.
I mean, like, silent protagonist has its ability for you to cast yourself upon the character. It's more like you are in the game instead of listening to someone talk for you.
Yeah. And I mean, there's two ways you could do the protagonist without putting like there's a bunch of ways you could do a protagonist, but the silent protagonist is a vessel for you to transpose yourself onto. And I think it comes down to like media literacy, lack of creativity, stuff like that. I think people like are having a hard time not having their hand held and not being shown like, this is the person you are. This is the person you have to care about, which is sad to me. But you could also go halfway, like Master Chief, before they ruined him with the show and newer Halos. Like he talks, but you never see him. You never know what he looks like. So,
yeah.
Not that they could do that with Link, unless they put him in armor. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. To show his long hair.
Yeah, have like long hair coming out of a full like visored helmet or something.
And then at the end of the movie, you see it like disappear a little bit, and you find out it's actually Samus Aran. Been Metroid this whole time. Now, see, that's a movie they should do. They could do it live action. Samus, like Metroid, would work live action.
Yeah, it would be a lot of CGI, lot of CGI, but they would it would work. It would be doable in live action. I think an animated movie would probably also be better there, but I think that the right people could make a better movie of that in live action than I think. But yeah, no, I think the new Zelda movie is going to be garbage. Just because I think most things that are out now are garbage.
Yeah, but it would make a really dope animated movie.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be like the same art style as the newest games. It doesn't have to be art style of really any of them. It could go back to like a more cartoony, like you would see if you go watch a new Justice League or Avengers animated series, and it would work just fine.
Wasn't there a Zelda cartoon at one point?
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
That was Link was a trash person in that one. Nobody liked him. I think it was based off these like around the first and second games.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was. I watched it. I used to own the DVDs. I don't know what happened to them. But yeah, it's not worth it. It wasn't worth me buying those DVDs.
It's really that bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think I've seen like GIFs and memes about it, but I never cared enough about Zelda. I know it's a huge sin, but I never cared enough about Zelda to watch it or anything.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see it come back as like animated. I would love that. I'd like them just to last minute be like, "Oh, psych, we're not doing live action."
Yeah, who did they cast as Link again?
I don't think they've named a person yet, as far as I know.
Oh Lord. Live action
Untitled Zelda film. Yeah, nobody's linked to it yet.
Nobody's linked to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's wish lists essentially.
Like Tom Holland.
Oh God.
That's what I'm seeing.
Anybody but him. Oh, there's a funny story related to Tom Holland. So what's their faces? Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They want to do a movie or a show with Spider-Man just so they could bully Tom Holland.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was epic.
I mean, as far as I've seen, he seems okay, like as a person.
Yeah, I know the other actors they didn't like him at first. He was they were making fun of him like in interviews, saying he's got to take breaks so he can have his little juice box.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I have heard and seen some instances of, that like he's kind of a diva and a child.
Yeah.
But like, dude, you're an actor. You get paid unholy money to say stuff. Not even well, because the movies he's been in have not even been that great, in my opinion.
He did one that was a hit. I never watched it. It was more of a drama, but people seem to really like it.
I just, at this point, I think people will eat up anything, dude. If they're told to like it, if they're told it's good, they'll say it's great.
Yeah. There was also Uncharted, which I refuse to watch that, and people's reactions towards it have kind of shown me I am right to take that stance.
Well, who the hell looked at Nathan Drake and said Tom Holland would be a good Drake?
Yeah.
Like, what about him indicates that he would fit in that role? I can't. I legitimately don't know. I can't see it.
And also for what's his name? Scully? Is that his name?
Oh, his like older friend.
Yeah. Sully.
Yeah. Sully. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just it was just weird casting. And apparently they're going to make a second one.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Who did they have play Sully?
Marky Mark.
Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yes, sir.
Oh God, dude. He must be desperate.
Yeah, yeah, it was a choice.
Oh no, dude. Oh no, the moment I saw he was part of it, what's his face was part of it, I'm like, nah. I saw those pictures. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. Wow, that's bad, dude. That's bad.
Yep.
And let me guess, it's just Guardians of the Galaxy Uncharted, right? That's probably what it is.
I don't know. Everybody just seems to. There are some fans of it, but most people that I've heard talk about it just don't like it whatsoever.
Let's go on Rotten Tomatoes. What do some of the reviews say? I want to see this. I want to see both good and bad.
Let's see.
Because I want to see how brain dead people are.
All right, so here we go. Top critics. We'll do the top two. While Uncharted will never be a classic on par with Spielberg's original swashbuckling adventures, it does no dishonor to that tradition and even manages to deliver a few unique thrills.
Oh.
And then this person, I get it more in there. It's not that much of a movie, but a diversion, a big dumb diversion. The best thing about it is that it serves as evidence that Tom Holland makes for a wonderful movie star.
Okay. That's about what I expected. That's most movies now.
Yeah, person down here, she loved it. Can't wait for part 2.
Oh, God.
Felt like it was too pressed for time. Hoping the sequel is going to be slower paced and can invite maybe a third movie.
There you go.
Yep.
Here's a question for you. Movies today, even good ones, generally feel like they are too pressed for time. Either they're trying to say too much in too short of a time, or they don't say enough in too long of a time. Do you think that most things that are out now would work better as shows rather than movies?
It depends. I have a thing with shows where a lot of them tend to annoy me because there's just so much extra filler that just doesn't need to be there. Just nonsense, additional filler.
Like on what?
What was the show I was watching? Your Honor. It's a really good show. Not going to knock it, really. It's got what's his face in it? Cranston.
Okay, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. And there was so much they could have just like skipped. Like there were scenes that were important, but then they went back and dwelled on things just way too much. And for me, once it starts like getting to filler, it reminds me of Dragon Ball Z. There was an episode in between big sagas where Goku and Vegeta have to go get their license.
Mm-hmm.
And just complete filler episode. It was just there so people could get paid, essentially. And having these extra scenes, it's like, so you can drag out the series or the season for like an extra episode or two, when you could have just ended it at like 7 episodes instead of having 13.
Well, that's bad writing and episode quotas. I think a lot of shows do have that. They do really, a lot of shows have that. But there are some shows that I think don't have that, or if they do, it's very rare, like very, very rare. I'm real picky with shows. They've got to be really good. I watched, I'm gonna say this, and it's just to hear me out. I watched Breaking Bad after everybody got off the train of it, and at first I liked it, but then I watched it like 4 more times, and now I hate it. Because that show is a lot of filler. It's a lot of filler, and it's also circumstance the show. It's like luck the show. How Walter White is always just the luckiest guy on the planet, and everything he gets up to is stupidly implausible, and that just really bothers me. But that has a lot of filler. But then you have shows like I think The Expanse. Even after Amazon picked it up, does not really have much filler. That's basically a back to back stuff is happening, then more stuff is happening because the last stuff happened kind of show.
Yeah. There's also that newer one. I still need to watch season 2. I think it dropped recently. The Ark. All of season 1 is just pure for the show. Like there's no filler. It's the things that might be considered filler are just how people react to things. Okay.
That's like The Boys too.
Yeah.
The Boys is all like good stuff. Stuff is always happening.
Yeah. And then you have Lost, where first season is pretty interesting, but then they start to add more and more filler.
The whole show is filler.
Yeah. That's what it turned to after like episode or season 1, just pure filler. And then especially during the writer's strike, it was just unbelievable amounts of filler for no reason.
Yeah, I never came back and watched. Like Lost was in the periphery for me. Like I watched parts of it for a long time. It was always in the background of places and stuff for me. But it sucked. I could never get into it. I think it was an interesting premise that they just did terribly.
Yeah, I enjoyed up through season 2. Like season 2 had some cool things. It had the smoke monster still. It had I think that's when they found the hatch. It was basically once they got into the hatch, the show just went downhill.
Well, they blew the load. Like there's the mystery, you know what I mean? You have to keep that mystery going for as long as possible, but make it so it doesn't turn into filler too. It's a hard balance. It's a really hard balance. That's why you need good writers.
Yep. Yeah, and a strike kind of puts a hamper on that.
Yeah, a little bit. I feel like we've been in a perpetual strike for writers anyway.
Yeah. Yep, and there's what happened. Another show that was really good for the most part, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, another one we won't talk about.
Yeah.
Well, it's once they ran out of book.
Yeah. I wonder why they ran out of book.
Oh, because George R. R. Martin sucks at writing. Like we talked about before, like he brought historicity. There's a word for you. He brought historicity into a fantasy story, which is awesome. And that realism, that believability, again, the world making sense, believable, the believability and the realism that he brought to the world really made Game of Thrones something special, especially for when it came out. But I mean, the books, they're very haughty and lofty, and they are full of filler, and in my opinion kind of aren't great. But the show is really good up to the point where the books end. But he just, as a practicing writer, sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
How would you feel if that was an animation?
Ooh.
Like, let's say it's done by a team that's really good. So it's going to be the, what is their name? They did Spirited Away. They did those games. I don't have them on my shelf. I was hoping they were there. Ni no Kuni.
Oh, I don't know the name of them, but I know the premise.
If I can find this. Ni no Kuni. What is their name? Not Netmarble. Is it really not going to be here? Which they're doing a Spirited Away live action.
Oh, okay.
Or it's out, something like that. I think Amazon's the one who's putting that one out. I'm just not going to be able to find it.
Well, if they did it, or if someone competent like them did it, I think it'd be really cool. I think it would have to be a more adult animation, which also goes into something I forgot to mention, how a lot of people, I don't include myself in this, but a lot of people seem to think that animation means for children.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. It doesn't. There's like the Animatrix. That's a very adult movie.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of animation that is not for just children. But I think if a competent animation company did Game of Thrones, it would have to be as violent and nasty and sexual as the show was. Maybe not as sexual. I think they went a little too far on the sex sometimes. But I think it would have to be just as adult, but it would probably work better. I think it would work better. And it would be also just as revolutionary because it'd be an animation that has more realism in it in terms of like its politics and how you raise an army and the stuff that goes on like behind the scenes. It would have more of that in it than any animation I've ever personally seen. So yeah, I think that'd be really good.
Studio Ghibli. There it is.
That's it.
Yeah, that was driving me insane.
Oh, the food scenes would be awesome too.
Yeah.
It'd be like 2 hours of food scenes alone.
Yep.
But what do you think? Do you think it'd be better that way?
I mean, it would probably have a smaller viewership because of that stigma. People would be like, "Oh, this is for kids now." But yeah, like there is more adult animations. I mean, I would consider a good number of Studio Ghibli things a little more adult. Like I don't think a kid's going to get the same impact out of playing Ni no Kuni and its story as I do as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with like Princess Mononoke, great movie by Ghibli that I don't really think kids are going to get into as much as I did, even though I watched it when I was a teen.
Yeah.
It still hits differently. Like the mature themes. There was something else I was playing recently or read that was like that. And it's not like Shrek where it's like they have some adult humor mixed in with a kid show.
Yeah. Or like Toy Story.
Yeah.
Which does that stuff.
There's a snake in my boots.
Or Woody, just Woody.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I think it probably would have worked pretty well. But yeah, it wouldn't have had as much of a viewer base.
Yep. But let's talk about something that did not work well as live action or animation or a combination of the two. Let's talk about a movie we watched.
Oh God.
A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful movie we watched.
Oh.
So we watched Space Jam 2, A New Legacy, or I guess not even called Space Jam 2, just Space Jam, A New Legacy with LeBron James.
Space Shark.
A movie that was self-aware at the beginning and said that sports players, athletes do not make good actors.
Yes. Too aware. Very aware.
Well, would you consider wrestling to be a sport? Like WCW, WWF, whatever they're all called?
I would call it an acting sport, a hybrid, basically.
Because I think that's the only one that's come out with anything that produced at least a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly acting, but it's very physical. So it'd be like stuntman stuff, you know what I mean? Like, or like, I don't know. An acting sport is what I'd call it. I think that works best. Yeah.
But so I've enjoyed the first one. I watched it when I was a kid. I think I saw it in theaters. I played the video games. The game was probably better than the movie. I love that cheap little, it was like NBA Jam, but with Looney Tune aspects to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what did you think of this movie?
Um, I, like we said before the show, I personally did not like Space Jam 1. Space Jam 1 was, from the standpoint of movies, a bad movie, but I get the nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. This one, I hated. I really don't like Space Jam 1. I detest this one because it was a giant corpo nightmare commercial. It was unending and unyielding in its corporate slop. That's what it is. That's what I'd call this, corporate soulless slop. But what about you?
I mean, I liked a couple parts of it. One is, I forgot to mention this earlier, but where's my mouse? Sarah Silverman was in it, and I was very happy with that. And then they had Stephen UN. Oh, yeah,
UN, I believe.
The two of them, they're both awesome. It was cool seeing them. They brought back Speedy, which was kind of canceled for being too racist. I mean, it was white people saying it was too racist. I've never heard anybody else say it was too racist. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
I don't think this one had, I mean, LeBron James, huge name in basketball. I can't deny that. He's got probably the best record of anybody, at least active in the NBA currently. He's going to go down in the history books as being one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think that Steph Curry's better. But it didn't have the same star power in the original one. Like, I don't know why Google mixes in both of them, but you had Michael Jordan, who's like still probably the biggest name ever in basketball. You had where's their face? Charles Barkley. Who else did we have in the original one? The best basketball player of all time, Bill Murray. Like you had real athletic star power there, besides just one guy. I mean, I can't knock Klay Thompson. I can't knock Lillard. I didn't know her, but until I looked her up later. But Diana was pretty awesome. And where was the other lady? I looked her up after the movie too, because I didn't know who the heck she was. But they're two big WNBA stars, and they are really good at what they do. Like, I can't knock them at all. They're really good athletes. But I don't know. It just didn't hit the same way. It didn't have like, because I love basketball. I love a lot of sports, but in the first one, they played a real game. They actually played basketball, not some just convoluted, dumb video game, which would be cool as a phone game, but the rules were stupid. The point system was just horrendous. That was absurd. And I like NBA Street, which is like over the top, just insanity. But this wasn't even as interesting to watch as that.
No, and it felt. Do you think it felt soulless?
Oh God, yeah. It felt bad.
That's probably why it just didn't hit the same. Because like this whole thing oozed corporate shenanigans, corporate intermingling, corporate like there was a board that sat in a room somewhere and wrote this movie. Actually, it was 6 people. I don't know if you knew that. 6 people wrote this movie. It took 6 human beings to sit in a room and write this garbage, dude. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that room, because what they came up with is astonishingly bad, especially for a name as big as Space Jam, which I think is a fluke anyway. I think Space Jam just got big out of dumb luck.
Pretty much.
But
I had Bill Murray.
Well, yeah, Bill Murray carried it, if anything, and the cartoon, like the legacy of the cartoons carried it effectively. And well, Michael Jordan at the time too, because Michael Jordan was like at his height at that time. And like I really liked like the intro with LeBron James showing like for pictures from when he was a kid and his career starting off, and when he was the clip of them saying he was the first draft, for the first team he was on and everything.
For the Cavs. Yeah, that was I watched that part and I was like, yeah, that's probably the most historic thing in this whole movie so far.
Yeah, that was cool. But then the movie started, and I instantly was like, no, I've really stopped caring with the Nike symbol after he fell into cartoon land or toon world or whatever
Toon World
thing they called it. But he hits the ground and it's a Nike symbol. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah. The whole thing was just it was Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
they were so hyped up with the fact that, hey, we're Warner Brothers. Pay attention to us. We're Warner Brothers. And that's what kind of killed me on it. Like it was interesting how they had the separate worlds. They had the Harry Potter world, they had the Matrix world, they had whatever else, the Mad Max world, which I did like that scene. I just like the way that LeBron looked in the Mad Max world.
Yeah,
they did a good job with makeup in that part. But yeah, it was a bad movie.
It was terrible.
Yep.
I give it a 1.
Yeah, like a 1 to 2. Like I have to give it for the couple funny moments I did laugh at. We had Don Cheadle at one point said King Kong ain't got nothing on me, and King Kong sitting in the background in the audience, and he just like gets all huffed up and like crosses his arms. Thought that was kind of funny. What else did we have? Michael B. Jordan coming out. That was a highlight.
Yeah.
We found him. I found Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean it had some funny moments, I'd say, but overall it was not worth watching ever again. Not worth recommending to anybody. Not worth really pushing at all. It was so like I also like Sarah Silverman and Steven Yeun and everybody. I mean, like even Zendaya and a lot of the people that were in it, but it just shouldn't have been made.
Yeah. Yep, that's a good way to put it.
It was a waste of money.
Yeah, if they were going to make it, spend more time, like give it more consideration. I mean, what blew me away. So this is a movie about AI. And it happens to be AI with a studio that was kind of leaning towards AI. And some of these actors had to fight that studio for the AI. They had a strike because of them. Like Warner Brothers is one of the big names brought up in that. It's mind blowing. Like they kind of were like, haha, we're gonna poke the bear now.
Yeah, I mean, it's more corporations being totally out of touch with both their viewership like base and the people that work for them. They're just totally out of touch.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sad.
Yep.
That was probably the worst movie we've seen so far.
I would say, yeah, honestly, it's up there. Potentially the worst, yeah.
Now let's move on to something because we're getting near the end of the show. Move on to my favorite thing to talk about at the end of every show.
Yeah.
We have the SCP Foundation. This time we have an actual creature instead of something just bizarre.
Oh, okay.
And we actually get a threat level, which I have no clue what their threat levels mean. So it's kind of interesting. This is it's an item. Like it's a creature, but it's also called an item. So it's item 6788 with a threat level of 38, whatever that means. It has a record code. Don't know what that means either, but classification tags: alive, animal, extraterrestrial, tentative sapient, tentative sentient, and a vertebrae.
Okay.
So item 6788 is a biological hybrid with gross morphological deviations from known mammals. The item possesses one of 4 copies of most anatomical features, including including heads, limbs, bones, and internal organs, multiple copies of 3 unknown organs, and a patchy body fur. I need glasses. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I'm done squinting. Wrong mouse. These copies are drawn from 2 distinct creatures, only one of them which is human. The second set includes reverse joints, compact padded feet, large ears on top of its elongated skull, and a tail. The second set does not include hands. During containment, the item suffered multiple health problems. These included cancers of the skin, stomach, liver, heart, gallbladder, esophagus, and lungs. Organs protruding through the skin. Is this that thing that super dangerous thing? You know what I'm talking about? Like the dog type creature?
Maybe. I think so.
But pulmonary problems, including saliva aspiration, pulmonary edema.
Oh, where's the word?
Edema? I feel like they're using the wrong word.
What does that word mean? Hold on.
I think they want to say, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say eczema, but I don't think that's actually what they mean.
Swelling caused by fluid trapped in your body's tissues.
Dope.
Like when your feet swell up and stuff.
Okay.
That's edema.
All right.
Pulmonary edema.
Pleural effusion. Digestive issues including acid seepage, esophageal and rectal blockage, visuals and constipation, numerous skin rashes and infections, and difficulty moving due to uncoordinated limbs and protruding bones.
Oh. So it sounds like a wreck. Like
yeah, and that was just during the containment.
It's like falling apart.
Yeah. 3 additional classes of organs not previously observed. 2 are secretory and protrude outside the body. Well, that's what protruding would be. Yeah, this is just a really weird creature. And it's just got, the worst health issues on Earth. There's nothing else that says, oh, here we go. The item has attacked containment personnel on 3 separate occasions. Euthanization has been proposed due to resistance from the Foundation Ethics Committee. Due to resistance from the Foundation Ethics Committee, as well as the aggressive role of the organs played in the attack. It is believed that removal of these organs will curb the aggression.
And it doesn't have any pictures or anything?
Nope. That's probably why it only has a rating of 12. I've seen some with like hundreds.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what this thing looks like given all of its problems.
Yeah, I wish they had like the link to the documents. They say see document 6788, but they don't have like a link for documents.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know, I would imagine maybe it needs something that they didn't have, and that's why it started to go all messed up and stuff.
Well, here we go. Item 678.
There it is. Oh, there's the symbol for it. Is that it? Is that people's like artist renditions?
This is SCP, not the item. Yeah, it won't let me pull it up.
What is it? 6788. SCP 6788.
Curly worst.
Yeah, so those like purple things are artists' renditions of what this might be.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
No. Is it like Prince? Is it?
Yeah.
It's Prince.
It's Prince as a weird demon thing.
Or, well, sorry. Let's be proper. The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yes.
So that's what happened to him.
I think this is a better description of it. Right here.
just a blob.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's just a thing. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, that it's just some kind of like just amorphous mess of a creature.
Yeah. Yep. And that was that. That was our weird SCP, which I'd never seen one called Item. That was new too.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, it's a creature item.
Yeah. But man, imagine having all those health issues. That is insanity.
Yeah, I just want to know why. Like, I want to know why. Maybe it was a creation of some sort that just went real bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with like all that cancer, at that point, it pretty much is just cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our show for this week. Thank you for watching and everything. We have some videos coming up this week. I have one coming out on Monday, which is going to be some games for the Switch. And my headset is falling off. A bunch of cozy games, farming sims, because I'm a big fan of like Stardew Valley, fan of Harvest Moon. Been a fan of that game since I was like, I think around the same time as Pokemon. So when I was about like 10 years old, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be one to look forward to. You're going to do the Thursday one, which I think you're doing something Star Trek related.
So I wanted to do another like social commentary in Star Trek, but after watching the DEI mod video kind of blow up a bit, I'm thinking about maybe doing like an Oblivion modding guide. That might,
yeah,
or maybe actually instead of maybe an Oblivion modding guide, since it's a Thursday vid, I don't have to do lists or anything. I could do like modding tips for different games, because I know there's a lot of questions and it can be difficult if you've never gotten into it before. And guides are kind of lacking for some games, especially older ones. So I might do something like that.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just show everybody how to mod.
Yeah, it's different for every game, but there's some principles that apply across the board.
Yeah. Yeah, so look forward to those. Those are going to be interesting. Oh yeah, that modding video that has so many views. It's closing on 600, which is by far our biggest video by about 10 times the amount, or 100 times the amount.
At least.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, because I think before I jumped on, it was at like 570 something.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm surprised.
Good stuff.
Honestly.
Yeah, so anybody who's still watching, check us out on our socials. I have them posted there for you. TikTok wouldn't let me do a full thing, so it's all just abbreviated, but it makes sense. I'll be more active on those. I've kind of been quiet on them since Facebook kind of won't let us stream there anymore because of weird issues, and TikTok stopped letting us stream there because we don't have I think it's 100 followers.
Or Twitter.
What'd I call it?
TikTok.
Oh yeah, I don't do TikTok. That's not a thing.
We might do TikTok at some point, but no.
Yep, once we can find someone to do it for us.
Or really what to do on it, really.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take care.
Yes, stay safe.